The forest was dark. Cold wind moved between the tall trees. Strange sounds came from the shadows, animal cries, dry leaves breaking under heavy steps, and something far away, watching. In the middle of the forest, an alien woman ran. Her blue skin was wet from the rain. Her eyes, glowing faintly, looked scared. She wore a dirty brown cloak, full of holes. In her arms, she held her child close. The child was small, weak, and coughing. She was alone. She had no food. Help. No friends. The woman's name was Rena, and her child was called Silo. They had been running for 3 days. She was tired. Her legs were shaking, but she could not stop. If she stopped, they would find her. The rain fell harder. Lightning flashed above the trees. Rena looked up. For a second, she thought she saw something in the sky. A dark shape. Maybe a ship. No, she whispered. Not now. Silo cried in her arms. She held him tighter. Little one, she said softly. We are safe. Just for now. But she knew it was not true. They were never safe. Not here. Not after what happened 2 days ago. Her ship had crashed in this forest. They were trying to escape. Rena and other prisoners, her people, were being taken to a prison colony. She escaped with her child during the chaos, but no one else survived. She remembered fire, screams, the ship burning. She remembered running, and now, they were here, lost in a strange forest, on a strange planet, alone. Suddenly, a sound made her stop. Crack. A branch broke behind her. She turned quickly. Nothing, but she felt it. Someone was near. She moved faster, breathing hard. Her arms hurt from holding Silo. He was getting cold. She saw a large tree with a hollow inside. She climbed into it, sat down, and covered them both with her cloak. It was dry inside, not warm, but better than the rain. Silo leaned against her chest. His skin was pale, his small hands cold. She took out the last piece of dry root from her bag. It wasn't real food, but it was all she had. She gave it to Silo. He chewed slowly. Sleep, little one, she whispered. I will protect you. Her own eyes closed for a moment. She was so tired. Then she heard it. Footsteps. Heavy, slow. Not like animals. Not like her people. This sound was different. Closer, closer. She held her breath. She looked outside. At first, she saw nothing. Then, a figure. Tall, strong, wearing metal armor, carrying a gun. A human. Her heart jumped. A hunter. Rena had heard stories about humans. Cold, violent, dangerous. She never met one. But now one stood only 10 steps away. The hunter stopped. He saw her. She froze. The hunter raised his gun. It pointed straight at her. She moved slightly, putting her body between the gun and her child. Rain fell. Wind blew. Time stopped. The man didn't shoot. He looked at her, at the child in her arms, at her face, her tired, scared eyes. Then, slowly, he lowered the gun. Rena blinked. Was it a trick? The man knelt down. He opened a small bag, took out a heat pack. He placed it near the tree, then stepped back. He said nothing. Rena didn't move. After a minute, the man turned. He walked a few steps away. He did not run. He did not shoot. He just waited. Rena looked at the heat pack. It was warm. She reached for it, carefully. Silo felt the heat and smiled weakly. The hunter turned again and looked at her. This time, he spoke. You're not safe here, he said in a calm voice. Others will come. Rena didn't reply. She didn't trust him. But, he didn't kill her. The hunter nodded. I'm not here to hurt you, he said. Not all humans are monsters. He placed something else near the tree. A food bar. Then he walked away slowly, disappearing into the forest fog. Rena sat still for a long time. She looked at the food, then at her child. Silo looked up at her, eyes tired, but hopeful. She held him tight. Maybe, just maybe, they had a small chance. The hunter walked slowly through the forest. Cold air touched his face. His boots left deep marks in the wet ground. His name was Darren. He was not part of any army now. He lived alone, hunted alone, killed only when needed. People called him a ghost in the forest. But today, something changed. He had seen them. Not wild animals. Not enemies. A woman and a child. Alien, yes, but not dangerous. She was thin, weak. Her face told the story. A story of pain, of fear, of survival. He had pointed his gun. But her eyes, they stopped him. They didn't show hate. They showed something deeper. Desperation. He left them food, heat, a sign of peace. But now, as he walked back to his camp, his mind was not calm. What if someone else finds them? What if they freeze tonight? What if I just left 2 good lives to die? Darren stopped walking. He looked up at the dark trees. His breath was heavy. Damn it, he whispered. Why do I care? He turned around. Back at the hollow tree, Rena was still awake. She did not trust the human. Not yet, but Silo had stopped crying. He was warm now. His small body rested against hers. She looked at the food bar the human had left. Simple earth food, but safe. She ate half, and gave the rest to her son. Outside, something moved. Her heart jumped. She stayed still, silent then. A voice. Don't shoot, said the human. It's just me. She looked out. He stood there again. No gun this time. Rena did not speak. Her people had no reason to trust humans. But the child opened his eyes, saw the man, reached out weakly. Darren took a slow step closer. He crouched. I know you don't trust me, he said softly. But I think you need help. Rena's lips parted. You help. Her voice was quiet. Strange sounding but clear. Darren nodded. You and the boy will not last the night out here. She didn't answer. But she didn't say no. I have a shelter. Not far. It's dry. It's safe, he said. I'll take you there, if you want. Rena looked at Silo. His skin had turned even paler. She had no choice. Okay, she said at last. Darren smiled slightly. Not with joy, but relief. Good. Follow me. The walk was slow. Rena could barely stand. Darren offered to carry the boy. She hesitated, then allowed it. Silo looked at the man's face and gave a tired smile. Darren carried him gently, wrapping his jacket around the small body. The shelter was hidden behind large rocks, covered with vines. It looked like part of the land. Only someone who knew this forest could find it. Darren opened the entrance door, a steel door built into a hill. Inside was a small room. Clean, warm, with lights and food. Rena stepped in slowly. It smelled of metal and dust, but it was heaven compared to the outside. Darren placed Silo on a soft bed. Let him sleep, he said. Rena nodded. She sat beside him. Darren went to a small shelf, pulled out a bottle of water and some more food bars. You look like you haven't eaten in days, he said. She took the water, drank slowly. Then she looked at him. You are not like others, she said. Darren raised an eyebrow. You've met humans before. Rena's face changed. Pain returned to her eyes. They hunted us, caught my people, took us to ships, prison ships. Darren sat down. His face became serious. I'm not with them, he said. I don't work for any government, not anymore. She looked at him, unsure. But why help me? She asked. He didn't answer right away. He looked at Silo, sleeping peacefully for the first time. I've done things, he said. Bad things. I thought I could live alone, hunt alone. But today, I saw something. A mother, a child. That boy smiled at me like I mattered. He paused. Maybe I just want to feel human again. Rena watched him. Silence filled the room for a moment. Then suddenly beep, beep. A light flashed on a device on the wall. Darren stood up fast. What is it? Rena asked. He looked at the screen. Red dots. Scanners. Motion sensors in the forest. Something's coming. Rena stood. Fear in her eyes. Are they here? She whispered. Darren grabbed his rifle. Maybe, he said, but they won't take you without a fight. He turned off the lights, pulled down the window shield. The shelter became dark and quiet. He handed Rena a small weapon. Do you know how to use it? She nodded. Outside, the night grew silent. Then, distant sounds, metal feet, engine hum. The hunt had begun again. The shelter was quiet. Cold wind still howled outside, but inside, it felt safe for now. Darren sat near the door, rifle in his hands. His eyes stayed fixed on the small scanner screen. The red dots were gone. The danger had passed. But he didn't relax. Across the room, Rena watched him. Her son, Silo, slept beside her. The boy's breathing was steady now. Warm, calm. But Rena was not calm. Not inside. Too much had happened. Too fast. And now she was here with a human. Later that morning, Darren cooked something warm. A simple soup, made from forest herbs and dried meat. The smell filled the small space. Rena didn't ask what it was. She just ate. After eating, she finally spoke. You used to be a soldier, she said. Darren didn't look surprised. Yes, you killed my kind. Darren looked at her now. He shook his head. I followed orders. I fought in wars. But I never killed children. Never killed people like you. At least, not on purpose. Rena stayed silent. Why were you on that prison ship? Darren asked. She hesitated. Then she said, because I said the truth. Darren blinked. Truth. My people were forced to work in mines, on dead moons. No rest, no food. I spoke out. So they called me a rebel, a criminal. They locked me up with my child. Darren clenched his jaw. That's not justice. No, Rena whispered. It is not. She looked down at Siloed. They would have taken him to, used him for experiments. I ran to protect him. Darren looked at the small boy. You did the right thing. But Rena's eyes were heavy with fear. They will come again. They never stop. After a short rest, Darren stood up. Come with me, he said. Rena followed him outside. The rain had stopped. The forest was wet and shining under a pale sun. Birds chirped in the trees. It almost felt peaceful. Darren walked ahead, leading her through thick bushes and muddy paths. They reached a hidden corner of the forest, where no one would look. A small clearing. In the middle, something lay under a gray cover. Darren pulled it back. It was her crash pod bent, broken, but still intact. Rena gasped. You found this. I followed your trail 2 nights ago, Darren said. I didn't know what it was at first, but now I do. She knelt beside it. Her hands touched the side of the pod gently. Maybe some of the tech still works. Darren nodded. That's why I brought you. I want to know more. Rena opened a hidden panel. Inside were burnt wires, a damaged screen, and one small silver cube with soft blue lights blinking. She picked it up. This is a data core. It holds messages, memories, and secrets. Can it still work? Darren asked. Only once, she said. After that, it dies. She touched the top dot. The cube glowed. A projection rose in the air, static at first, then clear. A face appeared, human, wearing a black uniform. This is Commander Roth of the Celestial Mining Authority, transporting 400 alien prisoners from Sector Delta to Colony Z5. No resistance expected. Medical testing will begin upon arrival. The voice was cold, robotic. Rena's hands shook. She skipped ahead in the message. New voice. Softer. Female. Alien. This is Rena, of the Ilari people. If you find this, I have escaped with my child. I do not know if we will live, but someone must hear the truth. We were not soldiers. We were slaves. We wanted freedom. For that, we were punished. The message faded. The cube died. Silence filled the clearing dot. Darren looked at Rena. This could change everything. If people hear this, they will bury it, she said. Like they always do. But I won't, he said firmly. I'll help spread it. Rena gave a sad smile. One human against a system. Sometimes one is enough, he said. Suddenly dash. Boom. A blast echoed through the trees. Birds flew into the sky. Darren pulled Rena down. Stay low. From the trees came a small black drone. It hovered above them, scanning fast. It found us, Rena whispered. Darren aimed. Fired. Bang. The drone sparked and dropped. Too late, he said. They know now. They ran back to the shelter. Darren packed supplies fast. We move now, he said. The caves, I know a place they can't follow. Will it be safe? Rena asked. No, he said, but safer than here. He looked at her. You still trust me? She looked into his eyes. Yes, she said quietly. He picked up Silo, still wrapped in his coat. Rena followed close behind. As they vanished into the deep forest, the wind grew louder again. Something was coming. But now, they were not running alone. The forest had changed. It was no longer silent. The birds were gone. The wind had stopped. The trees felt tense, as if they were holding their breath. Darren moved quickly, guiding Rena and Silo through the thick brush. He knew these woods better than anyone. But today, even he felt lost. They're in the sky now, he said quietly. Looking for us. Rena looked up. Between the tree branches, she saw something move. A silver light. A drone. No bigger. A patrol ship, she whispered. Military class. Darren nodded. Then we don't have much time. They crossed a shallow river, cold water soaking their boots. Silo was still in Darren's arms, wrapped in warm fabric. The boy opened his eyes now and then, but said nothing. His energy was low. Rena walked beside them, one hand on the side of her stomach. She was still hurting. The escape, the cold, the hunger, it was too much. We stopped for 5 minutes, Darren said. There's a ridge up ahead. We'll rest behind it. They reached the spot. Rena sat against a rock, catching her breath. Darren pulled out a small scope from his pack. He looked through it, scanning the skies. "What do you see?" Rena asked. He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "They've dropped a scout unit." She felt cold. How many? Too many. Suddenly, a low hum filled the air. Darren turned his head sharply. Down. Stay low. A dark shadow passed over them. Above, a long black ship flew slow and quiet. No weapons fired, but its sensors were clearly active. The ship stopped mid-air, hovering. A red light scanned the forest below. Rena pulled Silo close. "I can block the signal," she whispered, but only for a moment. Darren glanced at her. "How, my kind? We are born with a small gift. We can send signals. Block them, just small ones. It's weak, but it can buy us seconds. Then do it now." She closed her eyes. Her hands shook. A soft glow came from her fingertips. The red light flickered. The ship paused. Then it moved on. The danger passed, but Rena collapsed. Darren rushed to her. "You okay?" She nodded weakly. "I just need a moment." "You saved us." She smiled faintly. "We save each other." They kept moving. Darren led them into a narrow gap between tall rocks and an old path used by hunters. At the end was a dark hole, hidden by roots and leaves. "This is it," he said. "Cave system runs for miles. Old mining tunnels. No signal can pass through the stone." They stepped inside. The air was cold, damp, but safe. Darren lit a small light. The cave walls sparkled with old minerals. Strange markings were on the stone, written in languages long forgotten. They walked deeper until the sound of the forest faded completely. In a dry chamber, they stopped to rest. Darren placed Silo down on a soft patch of moss. "I'll look around," he said. "Make sure we're alone." Rena stayed behind. She watched Silo sleep, her hand resting gently on his chest. Then something caught her eye. His skin was glowing, faint, soft light, blue and gold. She leaned closer. Silo's eyes opened. Slowly. "Mother, I'm not cold anymore." Rena touched his forehead. "You're warm again." "But how?" "I saw light in my dream," he said. "It spoke to me. It said we are not alone." She didn't understand, but she held him tightly. "You are strong, my child," she whispered. "Stronger than I ever knew." Darren returned a few minutes later, carrying something strange. It was a metal box, half buried in stone. "I found this in another tunnel," he said. "Looks old. Maybe from your people." Rena took it. Her eyes widened. "This is a signal. Core. Military grade, but not human. Elari tech. How is it here?" Darren raised an eyebrow. "Looks like your kind came here before." Rena opened the box. Inside, a small screen blinked. "No power," she said. "But with the right charge, we could send a message. A call for help." Darren thought for a moment. "Help from who?" "There were others," Rena said. "Not all my people were caught. Some escaped to other systems. If this reaches them, maybe they'll come." Darren nodded. "We'll find a way to charge it." Suddenly a loud metallic screech echoed through the cave. Darren turned. "That's not a ship." "No," Rena said. "That sound. It's alive." From the shadows behind them, something moved. Long, dark arms, sharp claws, glowing red eyes. A cave beast, not natural, something old. Forgotten. It roared. Darren raised his gun. "Run," he shouted, but Silo stood up. He walked toward the beast. "Silo, no," Rena cried. The child raised his hand. His palm glowed bright. The beast stopped. It growled but didn't move forward. Then slowly it backed away, vanishing into the dark. Silence. "Return." Silo turned, his eyes glowing faintly. "I told it to leave," he said softly. It listened. Rena stared at him, speechless. Darren lowered his weapon. "That boy's not ordinary." "No," Rena said. "He's something new." Above the cave, the enemy ship circled once more. Inside, a commander stared at a map. "Lock signal on Elari, female and child," he ordered. "The hunt ends tonight." But deep underground, 3 lives moved through ancient tunnels, 1 human, 1 alien mother, and a glowing child who was becoming something more than anyone expected. And the war was only beginning. The cave grew colder as they moved deeper. Darren's small flashlight barely lit the path ahead. The walls around them were rough and carved long ago, by hands that were not human. Strange shapes and symbols covered the stone. It felt like they were walking through a memory. A forgotten one. Behind him, Rena walked slowly, carrying Silo on her back. The child had fallen asleep again, but something about him had changed. Since the cave beast left, His skin held a faint glow, like stars, trapped beneath it. He's changing, Rena whispered. I don't know why. Darren looked at her. You said he's special, different. Yes, she said, her voice soft. But even I don't know what he really is. They reached a chamber, large, echoing, a natural dome of black stone. Darren placed down his gear and scanned the room. We'll rest here, no signs of movement. Rena laid Silo down on her cloak. She touched his forehead gently. Darren sat beside a rock and finally asked, Rena ... what is Silo? She stayed quiet for a long moment. Then she spoke. He is my son, but also ... something more. Darren waited. I was taken as a slave when I was young. My people worked in secret mines for the humans for energy crystals you call solarite. It is powerful, but dangerous. I've heard of it, Darren said. Military tech uses it. Illegal now. Not everywhere, Rena said. One mine collapsed. I was trapped with others. We were dying. But then, the stone around us glowed. It responded to me, to my pain. Somehow, it saved me. She paused, remembering. After that, I was changed. And when Silo was born, he was different from the start. He could sense feelings, heal small wounds, talk without words. The elders called him Lightborn, a rare gift. Darren looked at the sleeping boy. So, ... he's more than Ellery. He is Ellery, she said firmly. But maybe he's also something new. A link between our kind and yours. Darren stood and walked to the edge of the chamber. He looked up. The ceiling sparkled with glowing dust, like a night sky, frozen in stone. He said, if others knew this, what he could become, they would take him, Rena said, her voice cold, and they would break him. Suddenly, a soft beep came from Darren's pocket. The signal core, Rena's small metal box. It had power again. He placed it on a rock. A blue light blinked. Rena's eyes widened. It absorbed energy from the cave. Darren smiled. Let's see who's listening. He pressed the side. The light pulsed. A signal went out silent. Invisible, but strong. Somewhere out there, someone might hear, but someone else already had. Far above the forest. Inside a black patrol ship, Commander Voss watched the map change. Sir, said a soldier, an Alari signal just pinged from underground. Old mining tunnels. South Ridge. Prepare the drop team, Voss said. We finish this now. He smiled. Bring the child back alive. Kill the rest. Back in the cave, Rena turned to Darren. What will you do, ... after this? He looked at her, surprised by the question. I don't know. I stopped being a soldier a long time ago. Stopped believing in anything. You believe in something now, she said. He nodded. Yeah, I believe in protecting what's right. He looked at her. At Silo, at you. Before Rena could answer, the cave shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Darren stood, grabbing his rifle. They found us. How? Rena asked. That signal, it was too strong. Rena grabbed her son. We need to move. But there was no time. A blast exploded at the tunnel entrance. Soldiers rushed in armor. Red visors, guns aimed. Don't move, shouted one. Rena held Silo tightly, shielding him. Darren stood between them and the soldiers. One soldier stepped forward, helmeted tall, his voice cold. Give us the child. No, Darren said. You are protecting an alien criminal. She's a mother. That boy is innocent. The soldier raised his gun. Stand down or die. Rena stepped forward. Her eyes glowed. No, she said. You will not take him. She raised her hand. A pulse of light shot out. The soldiers were thrown back. Like a wave had pushed them. Silo woke. His eyes glowed pure gold. He stood beside his mother. A strange wind swirled through the cave. The boy whispered one word. Enough. The ground shook. The lights on the soldiers' suits shorted out. Guns powered down. Commander Voss, watching from above, saw his screen go dark. What is that child? He shouted. In the cave. Darren grabbed Rena and Silo. Now we run. They escaped down a side tunnel, while the soldiers struggled to recover. Behind them, cave walls began to fall. Stone blocked the main path. They were safe for now. Deeper inside, they found a quiet spot. They lit a fire. Darren looked at Rena. He saved us. Rena nodded. He's waking up, and when he does, Darren asked. Rena looked at her son calm, glowing gently. Then everything changes. The tunnel was quiet now. Only the soft crackle of a small fire broke the silence. Shadows danced along the cave walls, as Rena sat close to Silo, wrapping him in her arms. The boy's golden glow had faded, but something inside him had changed. He was no longer just a child. Running from fear, he had faced it, and it had backed down. Darren stood near the tunnel opening, watching the darkness. "We can't stay here," he said. Rena looked up. "They'll come again." "Yes," he replied. "They're regrouping. The cave bought us time, not safety." She looked at Silo, who had fallen asleep again. "He used too much power. He needs rest." Darren nodded. "Then I'll buy him time." Outside, far above the cave, Commander Voss slammed his fist on a metal table. "Status," he barked. A soldier answered. "Our weapons are still offline, sir. The energy pulse shorted our systems. Our scanners are recovering. Estimated 5 minutes." Voss stared at the flickering screen. 5 minutes too long. He turned to his second-in-command. "Deploy the ground team manually. Send them through the backup tunnel." "Sir, that path is unstable." "Then tell them not to fall," Voss growled. "I want that boy." Inside the cave, Darren was already preparing. He pulled 2 old grenades from his pack. "Mining charges," he explained. "If they follow this path, I'll collapse it behind us." Rena placed a hand on his arm. "You don't have to fight for us." He met her eyes. "Yes, I do. This isn't just your fight anymore." Suddenly, a sharp sound echoed. From deeper within the tunnel, clink, clink, clink. Metal on stone. Rena stood, alert. "They're coming." Darren gave her a small device. "Go through the left tunnel. Keep going, until you see blue light on the walls. That's your way out." "What about you?" she asked. "I'll slow them down." She hesitated. Then she whispered, "Come back alive." He smiled. "I planned to." Rena picked up Silo. He stirred but didn't wake. She ran into the darkness. Darren moved fast. He placed 1 mining charge under a weak rock pillar, the second one near the tunnel entrance. Then he waited silent, steady. Soon red lights appeared in the dark. Laser sights, heavy boots. Soldiers moved forward in lines. Hold One shouted. "He's here." Darren stepped into view. "Looking for me." The soldiers raised their rifles. Darren threw the first charge. Boom. Rocks exploded. Dust filled the air. 1 tunnel collapsed. Darren moved left, dodging fire, and pressed the second trigger. Boom. Another section of the cave fell. The soldiers were trapped behind rubble, but not all of them. 2 made it through. Darren ducked behind a stone. Shots blasted past him. He rolled, fired, and hit one in the chest. The other rushed forward with a blade. Darren blocked with his rifle, then punched hard. They fought in the dark, grunting, sweating. Finally, Darren pinned the soldier and knocked him out with the back of his weapon. He stood, breathing hard, blood on his face, but alive. Meanwhile, Rena reached a glowing tunnel. The walls shimmered blue. She stopped to rest, laying Silo on the ground gently. But the silence didn't last. A new sound echoed. Dripping water. Heavy steps. A growl. Rena turned. Another cave beast, but this one was larger. Its back was covered in armor-like scales. Its mouth opened wide, showing long, wet teeth. She stepped in front of her son. The beast growled and charged. She raised her hand ready to defend, but she was too tired. Then light burst from behind. Her dot. Silo stood awake, glowing bright. His eyes burned golden. The beast stopped mid-charge. Silo walked forward. The air trembled. The beast lowered its head. It growled, then turned, and walked away. Rena gasped. "You controlled it again," she said. Silo looked at her. "No," I asked. It listened. She stared in awe. "You're becoming something powerful." "I don't want to fight," he said softly. "I want peace." She hugged him. "Then let's find it together." Back in the rubble, Darren dragged himself out of the broken tunnel. His arm was bleeding, but he was smiling. "I'm still alive," he muttered. He followed the markings Rena had left, soft blue paint on the stones. After some time, he saw light ahead, and there they were. Rena and Silo, safe. He ran to them. She rushed to his side. "You're hurt." "Nothing I can't handle," he said. "Did he?" She nodded. "Yes." Again, Darren looked at Silo. "You're not just a child anymore," he said. "You're a miracle." Silo smiled. "I'm just me." Suddenly, boom, another explosion echoed behind them. Rocks shook. The walls cracked. Darren looked at the ceiling. The tunnel's collapsing. "We need to move now." They ran as the walls crumbled. Stone fell behind them. The tunnel opened into the forest. Daylight. They burst out as the cave fell shut behind them, breathing hard. alive. Free for now. On a distant ridge, Commander Voss watched through binoculars. They escaped again, he said coldly. A soldier asked, should we continue the hunt? Voss narrowed his eyes. No, he said. We wait. He smiled. The child is growing. He will show himself again. And when he does, we will be ready. The forest was quiet again. Birds had returned. Sunlight broke through the leaves. A soft breeze carried the smell of new life. But Darren didn't relax. He stood near the edge of a cliff, scanning the valley below with binoculars. The enemy ship was gone, vanished after the last failed attack, but he knew they were still watching. They always watched. Behind him, Rena and Silo sat near a small fire. The boy was drawing in the dirt, with a stick, circles, stars, and strange lines. What are you making? Rena asked gently. Silo smiled. A map to where we belong, he said. Darren returned. Good news, he said. My old comlink just picked up a friendly signal. Rena looked up. Friendly. A resistance group, used to be mine. Ex-soldiers like me. Rebels now, they're nearby. She narrowed her eyes. Can we trust them? They hate the same people hunting you. That's close enough to trust for now. She nodded slowly. Then we go. Silo stood. Will they help us? Darren looked at him. They'll help you, if they meet you. You're proof. Proof of what? That there's something better than war, Darren said. Something worth protecting. They walked for hours through valleys, across rivers, and over rocks scorched by old battles. Finally, they reached a hidden bunker. A door opened from the ground, and armed humans stepped out. Guns ready. Darren, one of them, said. You're alive. Barely, he replied. And I didn't come alone. The soldier looked at Rena and Siloed. He frowned. Aliens. Refugees, Darren said. And if you're smart, you'll lower your weapon. After a tense pause, the soldier nodded. They can come in. Inside the bunker, the air was thick with heat and metal. Screens lined the walls. People moved with purpose. Darren spoke to the leader, a woman named Captain Myra. She listened carefully. So the child is changing? She asked. Yes, Darren said. He has powers, but he's not dangerous. He wants peace. Myra folded her arms. And the military? Still after him. They won't stop, Rena said. They will hunt him until he's either captured or dead. Myra looked at Silo. The boy stared back, calm and quiet, glowing just faintly. We can protect him, Myra said. But we'll need to make a move, a public one. Darren raised an eyebrow. You mean, expose him? Yes, she said. A live transmission. Show the galaxy what the military is chasing. A child, a symbol of something they can't control. Rena was quiet. Then she said, let them see. That night, the bunker turned into a broadcast station. Cameras were set. A secure signal was prepared. Silo sat in the center of a small room. Darren and Rena beside him. The camera light blinked on. A voice said, You're live. Silo looked straight into the lens. My name is Silo, he said clearly. I am Elari, born in darkness, hunted for what I am. He paused. But I do not hate. I do not wish for war. I only want peace, a place to live, a place to dream. He looked at his mother, then at Darren. And I believe we can have that. Together. The camera blinked off. The message was sent to every system, every ship, every screen. On the other side of the stars, Commander Voss watched the broadcast. He didn't blink. Shut it down. He ordered. We can't, his officer said. It's spreading everywhere. Voss clenched his fists. Then we destroy the source. At the bunker, warning sirens screamed. Ship incoming, shouted a soldier. Military class. Darren grabbed his gear. They're going to bomb the whole site. Mira stood tall. Let them try. Everyone moved fast. Turrets activated. Energy shields hummed to life. Outside. The enemy ship appeared massive and loud. It fired. The shield shook, but held. Then, something unexpected happened. Another ship appeared behind it. Smaller, sleek, alien design. Elari Rena gasped more. Ships joined it. 510, 20th Fleet. Rena touched her chest. They heard the signal. The Elari ships opened fire. On the enemy. Sky turned bright with blasts. The bunker shook as both sides fought above it. But then, silence. The enemy ship was gone, destroyed. In the smoke-filled sky. The Elari fleet hovered quietly. One ship landed. A tall figure stepped out. An Elari elder. He bowed to Rena. You kept the Lightborn alive, he said. She bowed back. With help. The elder looked at Darren. Then at Silo, "This child is our hope and yours." Silo stepped forward. "We want to build something new." The elder nodded. "Then we will." Later, as stars filled the sky again, Darren stood at the cliff edge beside Rena. "He did it," she said. "He changed everything. He started something," Darren replied. "Now, we protect it." Rena looked at him. "Will you stay?" He smiled. "I've got nowhere better to be." Behind them, Silo laughed as children Ellery and Human played in the grass. A future was beginning, not with war, but with peace. Together,